Hi, in this case study, we're going to go out and visit a commercial foundation contractor. So this guy gets a job to put the entire foundation for a new public school or a big office building, etc. And he's based in a geographic area that's served by a branch of a regional chain of distribution companies. And the companies use Bruce Customer Profitability Ranking Light, and they found out that this particular branch's number one best account from a sales and margin dollar viewpoint is actually the biggest loser. So the CEO has driven down to this particular branch and has got a shaking branch manager as they go out to make a call on the owner of this large contracting business. And when they get out there, the CEO is saying, hey, you know what? Last year we had 2,800 invoices from you guys. We one day had 8 stops of a truck at one site in one day. We're losing money on a transactional cost basis. We kind of think you are too. In other words, if we have 8 stops, your guys are sitting around sucking their thumbs. They don't have stuff to use. And so I just wanted to come out and see what's going on and figure out there's got to be a way we can both be doing better at it. There's no bad guy here. I mean, we're doing what we're doing. We love you and so forth. We're just going to make sure that there isn't a more creative way for one or probably both of us to get better total economics out of a relationship. So what's your assumption about how you're buying from us? And the guy said, well, look, at these job sites, inventory walks that can take several weeks. If I leave stuff out overnight, vandals come, stuff gets stolen, it could get, ruined by a hard rain or something. So generally speaking, we like to start fresh every day. Secondly, I gave cell phones to all my foremen because I realized that, in the middle of the day, they could have a problem. And how do I want to keep uptime? Uptime is important. I want to keep my guys busy, and I want to get the job done on time, and I don't have cost overruns and that I have to eat and so forth. So the idea is cell phones will help do that. So I'm empowering them to go after uptime, right? Um, and then between them, they said, well, wait a minute. Maybe what's happened is an unintended consequence. Because you said we don't want inventory overnight, so they're not thinking about ordering stuff the night before. They just kind of come in, they go, okay, what do we need? So they all get on their phones. You get 2, 3 foremen on a job. They all get on the phone, call us. We're going, okay, we'll scramble around, race a truck over there right away. But what are your guys doing while we wait? And then later in the day, they're calling again because obviously that's how we have 8 stops in one day. Um, could we think that at the end of the day, we could anticipate tomorrow will come, and if all the foremen got together and said, tomorrow, what are we all going to need, substantially at least throughout the day, and they pooled all their stuff together and phoned that in, we got all that stuff on one truck instead of 8 stops for 8 foremen. We could have it all there at the beginning of the day, and that would, cut down our paperwork costs, our delivery costs, and so forth. But what was interesting was the breakthrough in this particular case is the CEO asked, who is processing the truckload of paperwork we're shipping to you? Why do you sort of act like this is no cost? Can we see the person, talk to the head of the person who's in your payables department? He goes, well, sure. So they bring in this lady with, big tired, rings under her eyes and so forth. And the guy says, have you noticed anything as far as paperwork costs and issues and problems since we gave foremen cell phones, 18 months ago? And she said, oh my God, I've got part-time people, I've got overtime, the paperwork is killing us. This was totally out of sight, out of mind. Talk about silos in a business. And that actually was what struck the owner of the contracting business the most. So you never know what's going to grab them. But at any rate, so together they worked it out, and they cut the invoices by 90%. I mean, they got it down to like 280 invoices a year. Now, if the distributor had at that time customer level line item profit analytics, they could have said, all right, here are the specific invoices and the items being ordered. So when you look at a $5 widget being ordered in the middle of the day, what was the root cause of that order, and what's the cost of the downtime while you're waiting for that item? So you could zero in more perfectly on inferring on the flip side of the coin what were the downtime costs. Also, you could say, look, on these jobs when they're ordering stuff, here are the smallest, most popular items that could cause downtime. They're causing terrific activity costs on both sides of the fence for not any dollars. Is it possible that we could come up with a site security locker? In other words, something that you could actually store and it would stay overnight. And in there, statistically, we would put handy to have when you need them kind of stuff, paper clips and scotch tape, etc., so that we could get rid of a lot of these random picks, a lot of this invoice activity for no dollars, and improve uptime dramatically. But that kind of Hillman Group precision supply chain spice rack solution isn't possible if you don't have statistical data that is the customers. And there's no denying that that is what's going on with how they buy and what they buy. So the moral of the story is, if the workers aren't measured and paid on uptime on time ratio, because these obviously cell phone foremen they didn't care about on time and uptime. They were just sort of said, just like to use their cell phones and be the man, and not have any inventory overnight. So how do we get that whole crew tied in to the same incentive that is going to improve their supply chain productivity, and it's going to improve the customer satisfaction supply chain productivity? And what's great about focusing on uptime on time is that all the supply chain stakeholders right now are sharing in the waste. All stakeholders will share in the gain. So that's the story of the Commercial-Foundat'n contractor, where cell phones weren't the answer, they became the problem. Thank you.